Greetings and welcome. Today, I wanted to share a recent addition I got off Robert Edward Auctions. And it's the first time I've bought from REA. Not the first time bidding, just my first win. I'm pretty excited about the card, and it actually comes off my want list, which more cards go onto that list than ever come off. But this landed in my mailbox this weekend, and it is T206 Fred Merkle. And I think it's a beauty. It's a PSA 1, but it's completely by the card, not the grade. I've seen many 2s, 3s, and even some 4s of the card that look worse. It's extremely well centered. Piedmont back. And you can see some paper loss a little bit and some glue stains, but it all reads very well. And I think it presents great. I'm very excited about owning this. I don't have a lot of T206 cards. I've shied away from them. I've always admired them from afar, but I've mostly always been a set collector. And it's obviously a set that I'll never complete, so I've really never traveled down Tobacco Road very often. It's starting to change. I'm picking them up and realizing it's okay to not collect a set, but I think once set collecting is kind of in your blood, it's always hard to break. But it's not like the Honus Wagner is going to land in my mailbox anytime soon. So Merkle's obviously known for Merkle's Boner, which we all know. Bottom of the ninth, Merkle comes up to bat. There's 2 outs and he singles, advancing the winning run. The third, which was Moose McCormick. And honestly, if baseball wants to make all these rule changes, I think they need to start with that there needs to be more names in baseball named Moose. But the next batter, Al Bridwell, roped a line drive in front of the Giants center fielder. McCormick scores, but Merkle doesn't touch second base. Johnny Ever retrieves the ball, touches second, and the game is rolled a tie. 15 days later, they play again, and the Cubs beat the Giants 4-2, making them the world champions. When I look at the card and how it fits into my collection, I don't look at it as, oh, that's Fred Merkle. It's Merkle's Boner. It's a big part of history. I look at it as it's Fred Merkle, the 19-year-old kid who had played 15 games at this point, who did what the majority of base runners did in that era. There's no crowd control, and he peeled off before touching second, in which umpires usually assume base runners to be safe so they could run for safety. I look at the card, and it's a 19-year-old who spent those 2 weeks in between games, a physical wreck, losing weight, losing hair, to watch his team ultimately lose the championship, and to endure the nickname Bonehead, not just for the offseason, but for the rest of his life. Whether he's at the ballpark, he's at church with his family, or having to kind of explain to his children and grandchildren as they were teased about it in school. And at the time he was buried, he wanted to be buried in an unmarked grave because he didn't want vandals to put Bonehead on his grave for eternity. Even though some say he's one of the smartest to play the game. When I look at the card, I see a 19-year-old Fred Merkle who easily could have walked away from baseball. He could have quit. But I see someone who came back, had a 16-year career, became a home run and a stolen base threat. Someone who led his teams to 6 pennants and became respected by teammates and opponents. Someone who had a Little League field named after him and a monument built that references his outstanding talent and his intelligence in his hometown of Waterton, Wisconsin. the determination for success, the adversity he had to stand up to, and the dignity that he showed while being insulted for 48 years is why I wanted this card in my collection, and not because of some error he made at 19 years old. I'm extremely, extremely happy to have this card, and it'll be definitely a fun story that I'm going to be able to tell my kids. So, I hope you enjoyed it as much as I do. Thank you very much for watching, and enjoy your collection.